Have you ever wondered what the signs of mental illness might be? Well, it's a question that's not only important, but also crucial to understand. Mental illnesses can creep into our lives unnoticed, affecting people of all ages from all walks of life. They are not confined to any specific demographic or social group. They are pervasive, often silent, and can be devastating if left unchecked. Recognizing the signs early can make a world of difference. Early diagnosis and treatment can prevent or significantly reduce the problems caused by mental illnesses. But to recognize these signs, we first need to know what they are. What are these subtle, often overlooked indicators that something is not right with our mental well-being? That's exactly what we're going to explore in this video. So fasten your seatbelts and open your minds as we delve into the 10 signs of mental illness that you should never ignore. Let's kick off our list with the first sign: mood swings. We've all experienced changes in our mood. It's part of being human. But when these swings become sudden and extreme, going from joyous highs to depressive lows, it may be a signal of a mental health issue like bipolar disorder or depression. Remember, it's about the intensity and frequency of these mood changes. Next, we move on to sleep problems. Sleep is vital for our overall well-being. If you're finding it hard to fall asleep, staying asleep, or, on the flip side, sleeping excessively, it might be more than just a restless night. It could be an indication of a mental health condition. Conditions like anxiety, depression, and bipolar disorder can all impact our sleep patterns. Finally, let's consider eating disorders. Our relationship with food is complex. It's not just about nourishment, it's also tied to our emotions. Changes in eating habits, like loss of appetite or overeating, can be signs of a mental health problem. Conditions like anorexia, bulimia, and binge eating disorder are all characterized by an unhealthy relationship with food. But these disorders don't just affect the body, they can also take a toll on the mind. They're often accompanied by feelings of guilt, shame, and a sense of loss of control. So, if you notice drastic changes in your eating habits or your feelings towards food, it's worth talking to a professional. Mood swings, sleep problems, eating disorders. These are just the first 3 signs of potential mental health issues. They're not definitive proof of a mental illness, but they are signals that something might not be quite right. It's always important to listen to what your body and mind are telling you. These are just the first 3 signs, but we've got plenty more to discuss. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the signs that you should never ignore when it comes to your mental health. Moving on to our 4th sign: problems with concentration. The mind is a powerful tool, but when it becomes difficult to focus or maintain attention on tasks, it could be indicative of a mental health issue. This could be as simple as struggling to follow along in a conversation, or as severe as an inability to complete daily tasks. It's not just about being scatterbrained or forgetful. When concentration problems interfere with your life and cause distress, it's time to seek help. Next, we come to the 5th sign: a loss of energy. Feeling constantly drained or fatigued can be a symptom of various mental health conditions, including depression and anxiety. It's not the normal tiredness that comes after a long day of work or a strenuous workout. It's a feeling of being weighed down, physically and emotionally, that persists even after adequate rest. Remember, it's not laziness or a lack of willpower. It's a real tangible symptom that shouldn't be ignored. Lastly, the 6th sign: feelings of guilt and shame. We all experience these emotions at times, but when they become overwhelming and constant, they could be a sign of a mental health issue. Unfounded guilt or shame can be especially prevalent in conditions like depression and anxiety. It's not just about feeling bad about a particular event or action. It's a pervasive sense of remorse or regret that can affect your self-worth and overall outlook on life. It's important to understand that these feelings are not a reflection of your character or value, but rather a symptom of a possible underlying issue. Can you recognize any of these signs in yourself or someone you know? Next up is a sign that can be particularly hard to spot: social isolation. Loneliness, in and of itself, is a human experience that everyone goes through at some point. But when it becomes a pattern, when someone you know seems to be consistently withdrawing from social interactions, it could be a sign of a deeper issue. This isolation might manifest as a reluctance to participate in formerly enjoyed activities or an increasing preference for solitude. They might start to avoid friends, family, and other social situations. It's important to remember that this isolation can be both physical and emotional. Now let's move on to a sign that's even more alarming: self-harm or suicidal thoughts. This is a sign of severe emotional distress and should never be taken lightly. Self-harm often manifests as behaviors where the individual intentionally injures themselves. This may not necessarily mean they are suicidal, but it's a clear cry for help. Suicidal thoughts, on the other hand, can range from fleeting considerations to detailed plans. It's a common misconception that people who talk about suicide won't actually do it. That's not true. Any talk of suicide should be taken seriously. Sometimes these thoughts might not be expressed directly, but could come across through statements expressing feelings of hopelessness, worthlessness, or a belief that life isn't worth living. Remember, these signs don't necessarily mean someone has a mental illness, but they do indicate that the person needs help. They're a cry for understanding, for empathy, for support. It's crucial not to ignore these signs. If someone you know is showing these signs, reach out to them. Encourage them to seek professional help. These signs are serious and should never be ignored. We're now at our 9th sign: an increase in risky behavior. A person with mental illness can often engage in behaviors that are potentially harmful to themselves or others. This could range from substance abuse, whether it's alcohol, drugs, or both, to reckless driving or even gambling. These risky behaviors can be a desperate attempt to escape feelings of distress, or they could be symptoms of a bigger issue like a manic episode in bipolar disorder. It's essential to recognize these signs, as they can lead to serious consequences if not addressed. Now let's move on to the final sign on our list: changes in perception of reality. This is a significant indicator of several mental illnesses, including schizophrenia and certain types of bipolar disorder. The affected person might experience hallucinations, where they see, hear, or feel things that aren't actually there. Alternatively, they could have delusions, where they firmly hold on to beliefs that are clearly not based on reality. For instance, they might believe they have superhuman abilities, or that they're being pursued by unseen forces. These changes in perception of reality can be terrifying for the person experiencing them, and confusing for those around them. It's crucial to approach such situations with understanding and empathy, as ridicule or dismissal can only exacerbate the person's distress. Remember, these signs are not definitive proof of mental illness. They're indicators that something might be wrong, and it's crucial to consult with a mental health professional if you or someone you know is exhibiting these signs. It's also important to remember that mental illnesses are real, serious, and treatable. There's no shame in seeking help. In fact, it's the bravest thing you can do. These are the last signs on our list, but remember, mental illness can manifest in many different ways. So, we've covered the 10 signs of mental illness. Do any of these sound familiar? Remember, drastic mood swings, sleep problems, and eating disorders could signal something deeper. Struggling with concentration, feeling a loss of energy, or harboring feelings of guilt and shame are also signs not to ignore. Social isolation, self-harming tendencies, or suicidal thoughts should never be taken lightly. An increase in risky behaviors or changes in your perception of reality could mean you need to reach out for help. These signs serve as a guiding light to detect a potential mental illness. It's crucial to never dismiss them, but rather seek professional advice. Mental health is a journey, and it's okay to ask for directions. Remember, mental illness is nothing to be ashamed of, and help is always available. Reach out to a mental health professional if you or someone you know is displaying these signs.